All right, this is what no one else is talking about this morning, but we are a medical consultant for the NFL, and I want to make sure everybody knows his name because I think his name needs to be out there.
What?
Dr. Joseph Maroon told the NFL Network that he believes that CTE is over-exaggerated and is encouraging parents to be more concerned about their kids riding their bicycles than playing football.
I'm sure he's got stats on that.
I said, what?
Of course he has stats. You know what the stats are? How many people get killed on a football field? How many people get killed riding a bike?
Right.
That's a stat, but let's be honest here. Even though the facts say one thing, let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
If you are riding in your neighborhood, chances are you're not going to get hit by a car. If you go on a football field, there's a much better chance you're going to get injured than if you're riding on a cul-de-sac. If you are riding on a highway, there's a chance you're going to get hit by a car. If you're riding in heavy traffic, there's a chance you're going to get hit by a car. This is a joke, it's a sham, and it pisses me off.
I couldn't tell.
It really does. It really does.
Well, I worry. Well, I tell you, when my boy goes out on his bicycle, I worry all the time that he's going to get hit. I do.
Right.
I have him put on a helmet.
Sure.
And I make sure it's strapped on.
Right.
And my wife worries more than I do.
Right.
But I have seen, and I've had another son that played youth football. And they mostly in the youth football, they kind of wrestle each other down. It's not the hits. And so I don't think there is a whole lot where there is head collisions is in the interior line. Those kids don't know what they're doing as far as blocking and up front in the play. That's where they bang helmets, and that's where you can get there. But usually it's not the 80-pound pipsqueak is not going to get crushed by some raving linebacker, and he's going to end up with a head injury, from what I've seen.
Right.
But in the middle of the line, those guys do collide helmets because they think that's what they're supposed to do.
All right, so it's on NFL Network. I didn't see the video. Did you happen to see the video?
I did.
Okay. Did the NFL Network host say, "What the heck you talking about, Willis?" Or did they just go, "Cool, let's watch some highlights from Super Bowl 32"?
It was just a small clip.
Okay.
I can tell you from personal experience. I played football in 6th grade.
Right.
I did. I was a little guy, linebacker, fullback, Jewish mother, blew out my knee. And that was the end of my football career.
And
I literally,
your mom
8th
was,
grade?
Thank
sixth,
heavens.
6th grade.
6th grade?
6th grade, blew out my knee.
What it brings up to me, and
Which is a long way from CTE. By the way.
yeah, that's right.
Well, but his whole point was
it's
more dangerous. It doesn't have to just be concussions.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Okay. I want to be careful and fair when I say this. I've appeared on the NFL Network. I've gotten paychecks from the NFL Network. So I've been part of the NFL Network, but they had me come on and say, if you say John Fox should be fired or you think that, go ahead and say it. When it's the NFL Network, the network of the NFL, and doctors on there from the NFL saying, you know, this concussion stuff, that Chris Borland guy, yeah, he's kind of full of hooey. Then you know, my hackles as a journalist goes up, like, is this spin or is this, and how much is the NFL Network in bed with this spin? I would think that it's one opinion of Dr. Joseph Maroon that says, hey, riding a bike's more dangerous. But
the NFL is now distancing itself from Dr. Maroon, by the way.
Is that right? That's what I wanted to know.
They follow that up by saying he does not speak for the league.
Then bravo to the NFL and the NFL Network.
Right.
I'm glad you said that.
Have you ever seen the movie Thank You for Smoking?
No.
It's a classic. Have you ever seen it?
Nope.
If you haven't seen the movie Thank You for Smoking, it's about a guy who lobbies for the tobacco industry. Okay, and then he has a friend who lobbies for, I think, the NRA, and then a friend who lobbies for something else. And it's a fascinating movie. It's a funny movie. And the guy, his whole job is to tear apart your point. Yeah. And that's exactly what this guy tried to do. Yeah, you can always come up with facts and figures to make your point. And I think that's what this guy did, but I'm glad. You
know, one thing about CTE, and what happens is that this is one thing that I always think is left underreported. They always open up the brains, and I don't mean to be too graphic here, but of the NFL players who donate their bodies to science after they die, and they sure enough they find CTE in all the brains of the football players. I guess my only question is, 20 years from now, and I'm not a football player, if they did my brain, would I not have CTE?
Well, do you have a brain is the first question.
Well,
if they opened it up, would they find anything?
Right. They'd find damage. I'm guessing they would find damage. And
Kiz, would they find anything in his head if they opened it up? Help me out here. Would they find anything?
He's a great Polish mind like myself.
I mean, don't all
brains break down?
Yes, when they get old.
Right.
I mean, that's my question. That's my one. When he said over-exaggerated, which of course it's just exaggerated, but when he said over-exaggerated,
it's like re-aggravated. You can't re-aggravate anything. English 101.
That's where I thought maybe he might have had a small point. Is they always say that football players have CTE when they die, commit suicide, whatever it is that they do, and then but they don't compare it to anything.
Right.
You need a comparison.